नाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन धाम की जाय। ब्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की जाय। मायापुर नविद धाम की जाय। गंगा माई की जाय। यमुना माई की जाय। भक्ति देवी की जाय। तुलसी महारानी की जाय। समवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की जाय। All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Go
Hare
ahead. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for our daily Srimad Bhagavatam study here at ISKCON of Philadelphia. We are reading, studying, and discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, texts 16 and 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 There are two texts today, so I'll recite text 16 and then text 17. We'll do it call and response. Okay. एवं संचिन्त्य भगवान् स्वराज्ये स्थाप्य धर्मजं नन्दयामास सुहृदा साधूनां वर्तमदर्शयन्. Evam, thus, sanchintya, thinking within himself, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Swarajye, in his own kingdom, Sthapya, installing Dharmajam, Maharaj Yudhishthira, Nandayam Asa, gladdened, Surhuda, the friends, Sadhunam, of the saints, Vartama, the path, Darshayan, by indicating. Lord Sri Krishna, thus thinking to himself, established Maharaj Yudhishthira in the position of supreme control of the world. And in order to show the ideal of administration on the path of piety. Okay. This one I'll recite 3 times, then you all can repeat. Uttarayam dhruta puror वंशः साध्वभिमन्युना स वै द्रौण्यस्त्रसम्प्लुष्टः पुनर्भगवता धृता. उत्तरायां धृता पुरोर्वंशः साध्वभिमन्युना स वै द्रौण्यस्त्रसम्प्लुष्टः पुनर्भगवता धृता. उत्तरायां धृता पुरोर्वंशः साध्वभिमन्युना स वै द्रौण्यस्त्रसम्प्लुष्टः पुनर्भगवता धृता. Please recite.
उत्तरायां धृता पुरोर्वंशः साध्व अभिमन्युना स वै धृण्यस्त्र संप्लुष्टा पुनर्भागवतधृता. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. उत्तरायं धृतो पुरो वंशाया साधो अभुमन्नया सा वै द्रौणी अस्त्रौ संप्लुष्टः पुनर्भागवत धृतया. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Uttarayantrita puro vamsa sadev abhimanyuna savai droni astra sampusta punar bhagavata drita.
Hare Krishna.
Right.
उत्तरायणायां धृता पुरोर् वंशः साधवः अभिमन्युना सा वै द्रोण्यः अस्त्रसंपृष्टः पुनर्भागवता धृतः. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Uttarayam Drita Puror Vamsha Sadva Bhimanyuna Savai Dronya Yastra Samplushta Punar Bhagavata Drita. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Krishna. Anyone else? Okay, we'll read the synonyms. Uttarayam, unto Uttara, Dhrita, conceived, Puro, of Puru, Vamshaha, descendant, Sadhu Abhimanyuna, by the hero Abhimanyu, Saha he, why certainly, Drauni Astra, by the weapon of Drauni, the son of Drona, Samplushta, being burnt, Puna, again for the second time, Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Dhrita was protected. Translation: the embryo of Puru's descendant begotten by the great hero Abhimanyu in the womb of Uttara, his wife, was burnt by the weapon of the son of Drona. But later he was again protected by the Lord. The embryonic body of Parikshit, which was in the formation after Uttara's pregnancy by Abhimanyu, the great hero, was burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. But a second body was given by the Lord within the womb, and thus the descendant of Puru was saved. This incident is the direct proof that the body and the living entity, the spiritual spark, are different. When the living entity takes shelter in the womb of a woman through the injection of the semen of a man, there is an emulsification of the man's and woman's discharges, and thus a body is formed the size of a pea, gradually developing into a complete body. But if the developing embryo is destroyed in some way or other, the living entity has to take shelter in another body or in the womb of another woman. The particular living entity who was selected to be the descendant of Maharaj Puru or the Pandavas was not an ordinary living entity, and by the superior will of the Lord, he was destined to be the successor of to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Therefore, when Ashwadhama destroyed the embryo of Maharaj Parikshit, the Lord, by his own internal potency, entered into the womb of Uttara by his plenary portion, just to give audience to the would-be Maharaj Parikshit, who was in great danger. By his appearance within the womb, the Lord encouraged the child and gave him complete protection in a new body by his omnipotency. By his power of omnipresence, he was present both inside and outside of Uttara and other members of the Pandava family. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति सपदान्तिकं। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय स्पष्टाय भूतले श्रीमते सच्चिदानंद स्वामी इति नाम्ने नित्यानंद परिप्रेष्ठ दीनपत्र कृपार्कवेद हरि संकीर्तन से शरणम। Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining for our daily Srimad Bhagavatam study. Before I speak, I seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas on this call. I have no qualifications, but I'll just try to repeat, primarily for my own purification and for the pleasure of Lord and his devotees. This chapter, anybody remembers the title of this chapter? The Lord's pastimes outside of Vrindavan. So, yesterday we were hearing, and this whole Kartik month we'll be reading and hearing a lot about the glories of the Lord in Vrindavan. Of course, yesterday we were hearing about the Lord's pastimes in Gokul. Ramcharan Prabhu at the Sunday feast gave a wonderful class about the Damodar Leela. So yes, the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan are very sweet. But Lord's pastimes outside of Vrindavan are also very sweet. So here in these two verses, we can see, but outside of Vrindavan, we see the Lord's primary activities are directed towards the maintenance of the situations, but nevertheless, his pastimes are always very sweet. There's only limited time, so we hear briefly, but we try to study elaborately about these pastimes as much as possible when we have time. So in these two verses, we can see Krishna is talking about, or these two verses are focusing about, Krishna establishing Yudhishthira Maharaj as the king, as the emperor, and also Krishna personally protecting Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of his mother. So these two verses are focusing, and the translation of the 16th text says, in order to show the ideal of administration on the path of piety. So I was just thinking about this, he's saving, Parikshit Maharaj is also going to be the next king, right, after Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he's saving the embryonic body of Parikshit Maharaj within the womb of his mother. Why? To maintain proper order within the planet, because he was destined by the will of the Lord to become the king. So Krishna is making sure Parikshit Maharaj is safe, because he was going to rule and rule on the same lines as Yudhishthira. And in the 16th text, if you see the word used, one of the words used is dharmajam. Did anybody catch what was the word-to-word meaning of that word dharmajam? It says Yudhishthira Maharaj. Prabhupada gives the word-to-word meaning as Yudhishthira Maharaj. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj was the son of Dharmaraj, right? Or Yamaraj. And he was also personally or practically the personification of religious principles, right? You all are able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So even in the presence of Krishna, he was personification of religious principles. And in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada writes that in terms of adhering to the religious principles, there is no difference between Lord Ramachandra and Yudhishthira Maharaj in terms of adhering to religious principles. Both were equally adherent to religious principles. Still, there is difference between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Lord Ramachandra. Yudhishthira Maharaj is not worshipped the same way as Lord Rama. Lord Rama is the supreme personality of Godhead, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is a servant of the Lord. He's a devotee of the Lord. Yeah. So Lord Rama is known as Maryada Purushottam, right? He teaches the ultimate principle of dharma. Or, sorry, he teaches the proper behavior within this world, right? Maryada Purushottam. Yeah, he teaches. And Krishna is Prema Purushottam. He teaches the ultimate principle of dharma, which is what?
Bhakti.
Yeah, pure love for Krishna, yes. Which transcends all ordinary principles. So Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Right? So it's a wonderful thing that Krishna comes to this world, establishes religious principles, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Uh, and after discussing so much about Dharma in the Bhagavad Gita, at the end he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam.
Becomes
Give up all religions and just religious principles and surrenders to me alone. So what does that mean? Is Krishna saying reject Dharma? No. He's establishing the topmost Dharma. So where Bhagavad Gita ends, yeah, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, there Bhagavatam is starting. And what does it say in the Bhagavatam? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshate ahai apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. Right? So, what will actually, atma supra, what will satisfy the soul? Arjuna was so dissatisfied, right, at the beginning of the war. Therefore, he approached Krishna. Please solve my problem. And what did Krishna say? Abandon all varieties, just surrender to me, and I'll take care. And that is what is being explained in the Bhagavatam, right up front. Savai pumsam parodharma. The topmost religious principle, parodharma, topmost for all living entities, is what? Apratihata ahaituki bhakti. Unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving devotional service to the Supreme Transcendental Lord. And this is what will satisfy the Atma, right? But generally, we see dharma means dharma is usually executed on the material platform, right? There is Varnashrama dharma, there is Kshatriya dharma, Brahmana dharma, Vaishya dharma, Shudra dharma, women's dharma, this dharma, right? These rules and regulations are there. But why are they there? They are all meant to elevate one to that transcendental platform. But if you are simply performing all these, but if you don't get to that highest religious principle, which is to surrender to Krishna, then what is the use? They are meant to prepare us to elevate to that platform. But if you don't come to that platform of Krishna consciousness, you may do all those dharmas perfectly. You may be the best. But what is it?
no use.
The Bhagavatam says it is Shrama eva hi kevalam. It is useless labor. Right? Dharmasvanushtitha pumsam vishvakshena katha suya notpadayed yatiratim Shrama eva hi kevalam. So we are discussing about dharma, right? So ultimately, I may be performing all these dharmas on the material platform very nicely. But if I don't develop any taste for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, then it is useless. We must develop that attraction, Krishna consciousness for the message of Lord. So ultimately, all the other dharmas are meant to lead us to that. Yeah. So because I give a class, or share the Bhagavad Gita knowledge to some of extended family and friends in India. And a lot of those people I have seen have this philosophy from Vivekananda's interpretation. What is that? Manava sevaye madhavasya.
Madhava.
So all life, the whole focus is serving my this, serving my that, serving my country, and that is service to God. Here we are seeing clearly. Uh, no. Service to mankind, we are working so hard for the country for so many things, but it is all useless labor. We are meant to work hard for Krishna. Otherwise, working hard for country is Shrama eva hi kevalam. So Krishna through his beautiful pastimes, he is establishing this. What is the highest dharma? Right? And Krishna is, protecting Parikshit Maharaj because he's a pious king and also because he's a great devotee. So dual purposes. So for the sake of maintaining order within the planet, Krishna is, you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna declares, actually Krishna asked Arjuna to declare about protecting. Anybody remembers what that verse is? Right? Name bhaktya pranashyati, right? Kaunteya jani. Krishna doesn't declare, he asks Arjuna to declare. And Srila Prabhupada so beautifully explains why he asks Arjuna to declare. From external point of view, you see many people who don't properly hear from authorized sources, they come to their own conclusions. Oh, Krishna was a liar, Krishna is immoral, Krishna cheated, Krishna did this in the Mahabharata war, right? Has anybody heard of all these kinds of things? Yeah, people think like that because they don't understand. But actually, Krishna has the highest morality. Why? Because he is willing to violate all other religious principles. Why? To protect the highest dharma. And what is Krishna? According to Krishna, what is his highest dharma? To protect his devotees. And to do that, he is willing to violate anything and everything. Right? So many examples are there. If you all remember, in the Kurukshetra war, one of the vow that Krishna took was what? What did he promise? I won't fight, right? I won't fight during the Kurukshetra
Yeah.
war. And the showdown came with Bhishma. And Bhishma said, either Arjuna will be killed, but Krishna also declared boldly, hey Arjuna, please declare boldly, my devotee never perishes. So Bhishma said, either Krishna will have to break his promise that he'll protect his devotees, or he has to break his promise that he will not fight. See, so this is the situation, and Krishna doesn't choose, he's the Supreme Lord. Who, all this talk about Krishna promised, I don't fight, forget about it. Krishna says, the topmost thing for me is to protect my devotees. And he's showing that, right? Huh? So, what from devotees' point of view, what is our highest dharma? Surrender to Krishna, fully surrender to Krishna, right? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam. And Krishna says, don't worry, I'll protect you. So, uh, and fully surrender without any personal considerations, right? Without any. That's why the gopis are considered as the topmost devotees, right? Uh, because they gave up all dharmas. What can be a more higher dharma for a woman than to be chaste to her husband, right? Uh, they rejected their husbands to surrender to Krishna. Yeah. So, actually, if we carefully understand from the words of acharyas, from the highest dharma point of view, gopis are actually the most chaste. See, on material platform, yes, my husband, my wife, my son, my mother, my father, all it is good. It's good but on the spiritual platform, it's all temporary. Because who is the real husband, real wife, real father, real son, real mother? All in all is who?
Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah. So as topmost devotees, they apparently transcended all worldly dharmas. And see, why I am saying is, as devotees, what is our dharma? Sarva dharma, to surrender fully. And these devotees are showing by example how they are fully surrendered to Krishna. You see, you all follow, right, what I am saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So they are demonstrating their surrender to Krishna. And Krishna also, especially when it is required for the sake of protecting his devotees, he is ready to also do anything. Krishna's highest dharma. And we can see Yudhishthira Maharaj is a classic example. He is that, he's understood as the principle of religion, right? He was a great devotee, so pious, and he was always in the mood of following religious principles, right? At least you see the worldly principles of religion also he was very nicely following. Um, so um, Krishna one day told Yudhishthira, you know, you must say
Right.
that Ashwadhama has been killed. Because if you remember before the fight, Yudhishthira was such a cultured person, right? So before the fight, he went to all the great leaders on the Kauravas side who lined up on the side of the Kauravas. He went to all of them, and what did he request? Please bless me so I can fight with you nicely. He's going to the enemies and he's saying, please bless me. And who are these enemies? This is
Cousins.
Dronacharya, one of his gurus. He's saying, please bless me so I can fight. So this is serious business here, right? And what is he asking Dronacharya? Please tell me, how can I kill you? You know. So he asked Drona, he's asking everybody, please tell me, how can I kill you? Because the whole purpose of the war is to fight and defeat, right? Uh, so everybody is out there to kill each other, not to have fun, you know. And he's asking, and what is the duty of the guru?
Let's see.
Give blessings. Uh, but you know what Dronacharya says? As long as Ashwadhama is alive, I cannot be killed. Only if Ashwadhama is killed, and out of that disappointment, I can also be killed. Otherwise, you cannot kill me, forget about it. So what does Yudhishthira do? He goes to Ashwadhama. Hey, Ashwadhama, please tell me, how can I kill you? And what is Ashwadhama's response? I cannot be killed. There is no way you can kill me. When this fight is all over, I will still be there. You see, he was there to kill Parikshit Maharaj, attempted to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So, what to do? Drona will be alive too if Ashwatthama is not dead. And Drona was causing havoc, to the Pandava forces, killing left, right, top, down, everybody. And Krishna said, you got to kill him. But how? Unless Ashwatthama is dead.
That's what happened.
Krishna says, well, you have to pretend that Ashwatthama is dead. You have to pretend that Ashwatthama is dead. And what was the Yudhishthira's response?
What to do?
So when Krishna said, you go out, you call out and say to Drona that Ashwatthama is done, Yudhishthira says, oh, I cannot do that.
It is not like.
I can never lie. I've never lied in my life. What is Krishna's response? That is exactly why I want you to tell the lie, because everybody will believe you. Drona will believe you. This is why I want you to tell the lie. So, Krishna said, so Point is, we have a higher principle here. Krishna is telling Yudhishthira, more than your principle of not lying is the highest dharma here. We have to win the battle by any means because we are fighting for dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. Right? I'm here to establish religion. I'm here to establish Yudhishthira as the king. This is the translation of the 16th text. So, uh, our life becomes ideal only when we fully surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, everything we do has some or the other fault, right? Everything, there is some or the other thing. And because there are faults, we cannot give it up. Uh, if we keep looking, say, oh, I'm making this mistake, then we can't do anything. So, right? Simply by breathing, eating, walking, talking, we are killing so many bugs. Yes or no? Right? So something is going to go wrong and we can't please everyone. It's not possible. So the focus should be more, how can I please Krishna? How can I satisfy Krishna? And we can see the same thing is done here. And Krishna is protecting, Krishna protected Arjuna and Krishna is protecting Parikshit Maharaj here. Yeah. Prabhupada gives such a beautiful purport to this text 17. We generally don't hear this. You all are following me, right, so far? Yeah. Okay. So the body was destroyed and Krishna provided another body. Right? This is a nice little detail. And Prabhupada concludes in his purport that from this you can clearly see that the body and soul are different. If he was the body, if Parikshit was the body, and if the body was destroyed, then that person is gone. There shouldn't be any more Parikshit, right? But because body is not the self, you can see the body was destroyed and another body was given. And the Lord's omnipotency is being described here. That he can bring things into being. You and I cannot do that. Nobody can do that, right? Can we bring something into being? No. And his other presence is also being described here. What is that? Krishna was outside, right? When Uttara came asking, Krishna was in front of her, right? External to Uttara. And she's saying, please, please protect my child. And, Ashwatthama had released the Brahmastra. Unlike the atomic bombs, which blast anything and everything in that area, right? When there is an atomic bomb dropped, innocent people, everybody, children, adults, old people, animals, whoever is in that vicinity is all destroyed. Yeah. But nuclear weapons are nuclear. This Brahmastra is very target specific. And who was Ashwadhama's target? Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, Pandavas and Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit.
Yeah. So, this Ashwadhama, the same Ashwadhama here, is releasing he released the Brahmastra. And Krishna expanded himself. Prabhupada writes, who was outside, extended himself by his plenary portion and entered into the body of Uttara. So why? So the twofold reasons are given is one to protect the child, and the other thing was what?
Pandavas.
What, Mataji?
Protect Pandavas?
Yeah, no. The reason why for Parikshit, I'm talking about specifically. So he did two things. One, of course, he protected Parikshit or gave him another body.
Yeah.
Also, he gave him darshan, right?
But
He could see. So the first canto also gives beautiful description of this. We already read. So omnipresence doesn't mean that Krishna was there in one place and he projected himself. No, he's always present everywhere in number of ways. And we can see Krishna is present in his energies. And his energies are where? Everywhere his energies are there, right? So Srila Prabhupada describes that there is God and there is God's energies. And there is not a third thing. There is God and there is God's energies. And there is not a third thing. Meaning there is no void in the creation of God. This nothingness or voidness where sometimes where Lord is absent. No, there's no place such a place that where Lord is absent. No such thing. He's all pervasive by his energies. He's pervasive by his Brahman feature, by his Paramatma feature. Yeah. So since he's all pervasive and appears everywhere, uh, uh, um, so we see. Actually, I was looking in the first canto of, in the first canto, the pictures are given. Prabhupada gives. Have you seen the embryo picture with the Lord, giving his darshan to Parikshit? This beautiful picture is there. Um, oh, let me 1 second. You all can see my screen.
Yeah.
Can you see the embryo? You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. You all can see, right? Everybody can see the picture. A beautiful picture. So like that, the Lord gave darshan to other devotees also. Like for example, Dhruva also saw uh, the Lord, and then he disappeared, right? After giving his darshan. So, and we see that's why he was Parikshit means what? The name Parikshit means
Questions.
examiner. So he's looking, who is that? Is that Krishna? When he came out, he's looking everywhere for Krishna. So Lord, by his own will, by his own will, as Prabhupada writes in today's purport, by his own will, he can appear and disappear. Yeah, I and you are restricted by time and space, and our, potency is very, 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 very tiny, very limited. And to even try to fathom, try to understand what Lord can do, just to even think what Lord can do by our limited potency is is impossible. uh, we can't, because we are so imperfect and so limited. That's why Prabhupada many places gives this Dr. Frog philosophy, right, which we heard many times. The frog in the well is trying to estimate the ocean, how big, how vast the ocean is. It's unlimited. Yeah, with its limited, one time, twice, thrice the size of the well. It's limited. You cannot. Yeah. So that's fool's venture, they say. So he's manifesting, he's showing his omnipotence by manifesting before Parikshit Maharaj. And the other quality that we've discussed, or I mentioned in the beginning, is he's the protector of his devotees. Now the question may did Lord personally arrange this difficulty for Parikshit Maharaj and Uttara? What do you think? You all follow the question? Did Lord personally arrange for this difficulty to Uttara and Parikshit?
I think so.
Huh?
Maybe he wanted to give
I think
him
so.
darshan, give them darshan, his darshan. That's why.
Mm.
I don't know.
Does he have to put Parikshit into such difficulty to give darshan?
One right is yes.
So the point is, yeah, he may have not exactly arranged for
Even
the difficulty there, but he sanctioned it, right?
Sanction.
Yeah. Nothing happens without a blade of grass
Is
also cannot move, right? We heard that. So, because Ashwatthama, just like you and me, Ashwatthama cannot do anything without the sanction of the Lord, right? So, it's not like Krishna is telling Ashwatthama, go now release the Brahmastra. No. Uh, uh, the sanction of the will of the, see, our free will is very limited, but nevertheless, that the sanction of our will is in the Lord's hands. Yeah, in the case of devotees, the Lord takes personal, he intervenes. But Krishna has unlimited free will, and he exercises his free will. He is not limited, he is not constrained, he can do whatever he wants. Meaning, okay, Ashwadama, you can do whatever you want. Okay, I'll sanction. But the outcome of that is in my hand. You see, that's the point, Krishna. So, okay, you can release it, sure, but I know what to do. So the outcome of anything is in Krishna's hands. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that this particular living entity, why did he protect? Because of his great pre-qualifications. He was going to be the heir to the throne of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Pretty much like, remember Krishna showed the universal form to Arjuna? We read in the 11th chapter. And what did he show in the universal form? He showed many things,
everything.
but did he show the outcome of the battle also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he showed the outcome of the battle, right? Thank you. So, which basically it was already established what is going to be the end result. Krishna wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj to become the emperor, period. And when Krishna wills something, it's unstoppable. Still, there is freedom of living entity. No, these are not, it's not contradictory. If you think about it, see, after telling the entire Bhagavad Gita, what did Krishna tell Arjuna? Okay, I have given you all the knowledge.
Do
Now
what
you decide what you want to do, right? He didn't say you must. You decide what you want to do. So there is free will. So let's say, hypothetically, if Arjuna chose not to fight, you think it would change the outcome of the battle?
No.
No. Yeah, the Lord decided that this is the outcome of the battle. And so the outcome is not dependent on our free will. Krishna will empower somebody else. Or some will be empowered to fight. Or whatever arrangement Krishna so desires. That's totally up to Krishna, right? But the outcome is not dependent on our free will. Our free will doesn't determine the outcome. Krishna's free will determine the outcome. Yeah. And he's not some machine, right? He's a person. And within that context, we have free will, but it is very, very minute. So we have a choice, like Krishna gave to Arjuna, right? We have a choice to either serve Krishna or not. Or, another way to put it is to, either ways we serve Krishna only, but to serve him favorably or unfavorably. Yeah. And it was his will that Yudhishthira was to be made emperor. And along with that, also show special mercy to Parikshit Maharaj. And see how dear was Parikshit Maharaj to Krishna. And you can see, as I was mentioning earlier, yes, Krishna puts his devotees sometimes through a lot of trials and tribulations, right? But Parikshit Maharaj was special. His role as the next king was determined. His protection was arranged. And most importantly, last but not the least,
You got
and
darshan.
also gave personal darshan to him. How blessed is, right? You're the king, you're the future king. I will be personally protecting you and I'll give you
I
darshan.
see.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so is a very special devotee. So we can learn from these great personalities uh, how they surrendered to Krishna and how Krishna reciprocates and goes to any extent. And nothing is impossible for Krishna, that he protects his devotees. Yeah. So a few points I wanted to share. I'll pause here if somebody has some corrections, comments, additions, reflections. Hare Krishna. No, and yes, anybody has any comments, corrections?
No correction, just a comment that everyone has their own takeaways, and I guess what I had to the takeaway from today's past is that things will happen, you know, um, in the world because everyone has their free will. But don't worry, there's only minute free will. The outcome is in Krishna's hand, and he will only do what's best for all of us.
Yes, yes. Thank
That's
you.
my takeaway. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, we do our best as per Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and then dependent fully on Krishna for the outcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
And just one other comment to that, my personal reflection, Mother Sita, is, and a lot of times the outcome, sometimes immediately, might not seem, I'm just talking about myself and my personal realization, that may not sometimes seem, you know, favorable, sometimes even in bhakti life, even if you look at it, but, but over a period of time, Krishna will, as one more and more surrenders, Krishna will reveal his plan, and what a beautiful plan he had for us. This is something that, I realized personally in my life, especially when certain situations don't pan out the way we think, sometimes in spite of best efforts, that, Krishna has a better plan, which will be revealed in due course of time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many times when you look back and you feel like, well, I'm glad Krishna did it the way he did because he knows past, present, and future, and I don't.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but rest assured, he definitely has everything in control. So, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Nice.
Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, Bhavagrahi Janardana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I was going to say something very similar to what you just said, and to go off of what Mother Sita was talking about. It can be really hard sometimes in the thick of things. You're getting your butt kicked by the material world, and sometimes all you can think is like, why? Why is this happening? What is going on? I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything I can. Why is this so hard? It's hard to get into that mindset that, oh, everything's going to be okay. But then sometimes things get revealed and you go, oh, okay, I get it now. I get why things were so tough recently. This was to kind of thick in my skin, or all right, it was a roundabout way to get there, but now I see. So it's hard sometimes to have that mindset in the thick of it. But when it gets hard like that, what do you do besides like chanting and just praying and asking for guidance? Is there anything more that you can do?
Mm. Well, share, one thing that helped me, Prabhu, that I'll tell in addition to chanting and hearing the glories of Lord. When you share this, what you're going through with like-minded senior devotees whom you trust, confidentially reveal it to them. They sometimes, they have also been through, right? Life, everybody goes through. And some of these great personalities who have been serving Krishna in the movement, especially some Prabhupada disciples around us, and many devotees, senior devotees who are senior to you and me, they may have gone through a lot of these situations. And, it is sometimes very comforting in that moment for us to know, oh, even somebody like this also went through, and this is how, they they just hung in there. They had faith that Krishna will reveal, and they can give you some practical tips, again depending on what the situation is. I can't generalize, but I did realize in my own personal experience that when you share this confidentially, that this is what I'm going through, or this is what happened, what do you think I should do, like you are asking, unless it's a specific situation. See, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the first thing he teaches us in the Bhagavad Gita is what?
We are not the body.
Yes, you're not the body or the soul. And what is the next thing he teaches?
Do your duty.
So he says, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam. That means you're not this body. At the end of this, when the body becomes old and useless, the soul transmigrates to another body. And the words right after that is what? Matra sparshastu kaunteya
Sukunteya. Itoshna
sitoshna
Sukunteya.
kada agama
Agnipa.
nityasya tams titikshas.
Discharge.
What does titi means? What? We have to tolerate. Yeah. Immediately, first he says, you're not this body or the soul. Then he says, look, the non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress are like the appearance and disappearance of summer and winter seasons. O sign of Bharata, they arise from sense perception.
Tolerate.
So one must learn to tolerate. One must learn to tolerate. So practically, Prabhu, what I realize is it's good to share our heart, again, depending on what that particular situation is. The senior devotees, when you share with them confidentially, they can give you some practical advice on how to deal with it, or some alternate solutions to that problem. Okay. And the second thing is to learn that it is temporary. It is temporary, so when it is temporary, means it's like summer. You're not going to have round the year summer. You're not going to have round the year winter. It's sometimes winters are long, or brutal. We just know that it's temporary, and so we learn to tolerate. And I mean, unless there's a particular specific instance where we can discuss, maybe I can give you, maybe based on my little bit realization, some practical tips. But otherwise, yes, Prabhu, engaging ourselves in Krishna's service and having faith that he will take care. Once if we are surrendering, then Krishna knows, then he'll take care. But yes, we need to tolerate. While we are doing all this, we need to also train ourselves to tolerate these situations. Does that help, Prabhu?
It does, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
One thing that I
please.
try to do is I talk to Krishna, and I say, I know what you're doing is best for everyone, but I'm hurting, and my limited brain can't understand everything you're doing, but I have faith in you. But I am hurting, but I have faith in you. So I kind of like, okay, I'm acknowledging my pain, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm hurting because I don't understand everything. I don't have the wisdom to understand everything you're doing. But then I do have faith in you. And just, I mean, it's personally for me when I talk to Krishna and I tell him everything this way, it somehow goes away. It somehow, the pain eases and things, you know, and for me, I start settling down, but I have to really get to a point where I have to sit down and just literally talk to him. So that's my personal experience.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hang in there, Prabhu. Hang in there. That's what they say. Yeah. You're doing all
Yeah.
the right things.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Very nice class. And I learned a lot, but I have one question.
Ah.
When we do something and we have some difficulty in doing that, but suddenly if we remember Krishna and the things get done, is it motivated devotional service or unmotivated?
So we are
Because we
doing a
remembered
service.
Krishna.
Okay. So I understand the question. You are trying to perform a service.
No, perform my material duty, but
Okay.
it was difficult. But suddenly I thought about one shloka or something about Krishna, and things got done very easily. So this I thought about Krishna. Was it motivated, motivated devotional or unmotivated?
Look, for a devotee, who is surrendered, every activity that he's doing, it may appear, he has a material body and he's doing, but everything he's doing ultimately in the consciousness to serve Krishna, to please Krishna, right? So, um, it depends on the activity, but there's nothing wrong. We are in this material world. We have to encounter so many situations. We have to deal with so many people at work, so many things. So if it helps, one should always, right? The overarching principle is to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, right? So it's fine. Now, the question about is it unmotivated bhakti? Um, It depends on what the activity is. Okay. So, but there's nothing, I mean, we should try to always remember Krishna wherever we are, whatever situation it is, whatever activity it is, always try to remember Krishna, right? And if we remember Krishna, then we uh, uh, hopefully are performing activities. Uh, so by remembering, and the activity also gets purified. Yeah. So initially, whatever the motivation is, but eventually our consciousness is purified and it will get us to the platform of unmotivated bhakti. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe there is some selfish agenda in the beginning, but we should never stop remembering Krishna. So that should not stop. Doesn't matter. Ultimately, Krishna will purify our heart and then our activity also gets purified. Yeah. So in the beginning stages, maybe not, but if we continue to make spiritual advancement and do what we are supposed to do and always try to remember Krishna, then Krishna says, all activities will be purified. And we
yeah,
get to that stage of pure, unadulterated, unmotivated bhakti.
yeah. Our faith increases. I
Yeah,
know
and if
that.
that activity is not favorable for our bhakti, we will reject it.
Mm.
Right? Today I may be doing it for whatever reason, but if that material thing is not favorable for my bhakti, then it may be because of my attachment or whatever the reasons are, I may be doing it today. And we all start somewhere. So it's okay, whatever it is, just always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And Krishna will give the intelligence, you know, both to perform it with a pure consciousness, so it is pleasing to Krishna. And if that activity is not favorable and not pleasing, then hopefully Krishna will help us get rid of that activity also.
It's my job.
No, it's okay. So we all have to do. That's fine. Please continue to do. You have bills to pay, right? You have active, you have to take care of your body. It's fine. And the best way to do is to always try to remember Krishna. And if it is
Yeah.
helpful, yeah, Krishna will take care. So yes, you have to do your duties. You have to take care. You have a job. Yes. And the best, a lot of people don't have time to remember Krishna during work. So it is amazing that, your work is progressing nicely when you remember Krishna. So it's one more reason to keep remembering Krishna. Why do we want difficulties at work? Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Thank you very much,
right?
Jatpalji.
I
Very
don't know,
nice.
maybe somebody else has some comments regarding that.
Not that remembering Krishna only difficulty times. All the time we have to think.
Yes. Nice point. Yeah.
Difficulty times we say, Krishna, save me, save me, save me. No. He will say that, no, you think of me all the time. I'll be there with you. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. It's 9 o'clock, so we'll end here.
Thank you.
Very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much for joining. We'll continue tomorrow. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyev
Patitanam Bhavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.